Hi everyone, it's Michelle from Country Morning Creation, and I'm back with day 7 of the 12 days of junk journal gift ideas. Today's is notepads, and I had done a tutorial on how to make these notepads like a month or two ago, and I've actually made some improvements. So although this is basically a tutorial I've already done, this is the new and improved tutorial that I'm going to do. So what I'm making are basically a refrigerator notepad. This is the way that I make them, and what I'm using just some old cardboard for the backing. That is what would, basically you'd have this on the back of a notebook or something. I have some of this pre-printed cardstock, and this goes with that set I've been using through the whole thing. And then I have some coffee dyed paper. You could use plain white paper if you would like as well. And I'm going to use my handy dandy Crop-A-Dile for this as well. So I'm making these because I want as little waste as possible. I am going to make mine 3.5 inches wide. And I'm trying to remember, I think these notebook pages are more than 8.5. Yeah, these are actually 9 inches. So I'm going to just use one of these. I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off this part, and there will be some little divots left, but that's okay. We're just going to cut that part off, and hopefully it will make it a little bit more even. Oops, I think I hit the camera there, maybe. And of course that didn't cut all the way through. So for demonstration purposes, I just left that there because we're now going to cut this at the 3.5 inch mark. And on my board, it doesn't actually have it. I measured it out. There is the 3.5 inch mark. And so I'm just going to cut this again, or at least score it so that I can eventually, nope, there we go. I was gonna say cut it off. So that is our back piece. And we're going to put some magnets on it when we're done. Then I'm also going to cut, I've already pre-cut a bunch of pages that are already, they're 3.5 this way by 8 inches this way. So I'm going to cut this last sheet here. And so 3.5. And I'll show you how very little is left using that 3.5 inch dimension. So there is a tiny, tiny bit, because literally to divide 11, you would have to do 3.6666666. So there's just a little tiny bit of waste for each page that you do. And so now I have 15 pieces of paper here. And we're going to attach that, and then, oh, before I put this away, I need to also cut a piece that will go along the top. I'm actually thinking I'm going to use a piece from here. So I want to make this, let's make it 2 inches wide. I think that's a nice width. That actually may be a little bit too wide. No, that's too wide. I think I'm going to make it 1.5 inches. So I'm going to cut another 1/2 inch off of this. I don't remember my dimensions. I should have gone back and double checked them from my own video, but I didn't. But I think 1 inch is too narrow. And what this is going to create at the top of this is a piece that you can tear against and get nice clean tears. And we're going to make it 3.5 inches wide, just like everything else. And so now what you'll get is kind of this effect. Now what I want to do is, first of all, I'm going to put some clips to start holding all of these pieces together. And one of the things I found, I bought a pack of these little mini clothespins, and they are I think, really great for what we're doing, and they're small, so they tend to stay out of the way. And so I'm going to move these papers a little bit. And what I want to do, one of the things that I found in my past videos was an issue, is you can see how this is starting to lean this way. So I want to kind of play with this a little bit and get everything lined back up again. And then make sure that it is pretty well lined up. And then I'm going to actually put several of these down because we don't want to get to the end and discover that we have actually got a crooked piece here. And because it's coffee dyed paper, it's wrinkly, it's not going to be perfect, but I would like for it to at least look good when it's hanging on a refrigerator. So next, one of the things that I came up with is I need to mark on the back and pre-cut some holes before I put the whole thing together and chomp through the whole thing. So I'm going to grab my ruler again, and this is 1.5, so we want 1 3/4 inch. Oh, I forgot to grab a pencil. Hang on. Let me see if I can find something to mark with. Like all good YouTubers, I'm totally unprepared. So 3/4 inch would be here, and we can draw this in pen on the back just because it's not going to show. This is going to be on the inside. And 3/4 inch, and then I'm going to run my pen across this so that we've got the middle. One of the issues I was running into before was that I would try to punch the holes. That actually does not look even, and it's not, of course. One of the problems I was running into was that the holes were not lining up when I would go to punch the whole thing through. Let's try this again. So that looks right. We're going to just try to draw this a little bit more evenly so it really is in the middle. So there we go. There's the middle, and then this is 3.5 inches. So if I'm going to do 2 holes in the top of this, let's see, math. This is going to require mathing. Let's do this. If we come in 3/4 inch for each of these holes, that would put them all, both about right there. I think I don't want them there. I think I'm going to move them out to the 1/2 inch mark. There we go. I think this will look a little bit better, and it will actually hold the whole thing together better. So what I want to do then is grab my Crop-A-Dile. And I know I showed this to you before. There's this little thing that says it's going to punch a hole. Nope, that's not the hole punch. I want the 1/8 inch hole punch. There we go. So I'm going to do the 1/8 inch hole punch and just punch through the holes where I marked to start with. Let me do this one as well. Now I can't remember which is which. Oh, that's the 1/2 inch one. There it is. And we're going to punch that hole. So now when I flip it over, I have 2 holes and they're more evenly spaced. So this will make punching the hole in the top for all of this work much, much better. And I just thought about something. I'm going to grab a little bit of washi tape as well and use that to actually tape the top parts together so that it holds together better. And this is a really good washi tape because it's actually very, very not sticky. This is actually from We Are Memory Keepers. So they have a washi tape that is very unsticky, if you will. So I'm going to line this up on the top and put the washi tape across the top, and we'll be able to remove that when we're done. And I'm going to do it across the top here and then actually tape it. Oops, let's do this. So let's flip it over, make sure all of this is lined up. And I'm going to actually tape this all down. Oops. Well, this is a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be, but I think we'll still get there in the end. So I'm going to fold this back, make sure I get all this lined up. And this top does not want to get lined up right. All right. Now I think I have it lined up right. I'm going to just fold this over the top and tape this down for now. And squish these together too and tape those around. So now I have this piece lined up on top, and there are my holes. If you can't see them well enough, I would say feel free to go back and maybe make a little mark, because again, you're going to punch that out. It's not a big deal. So now I'm going to go back and line those exact same holes up again with my Crop-A-Dile and punch these holes out all the way through. And because this is the big one, you can see that actually nicely goes all the way through the whole stack. It doesn't get stuck. So let's see if I can get this one to line up too. And there's that one. Now we're going to put it back up here, and I've got these grommets, and I'm going to use these in our holes. You don't actually have to use these, so if you don't have a Crop-A-Dile, you could use like an ice pick or an awl and just skip the part of putting these little grommets in, or eyelets. I've heard them called both. So you could totally skip that part, or you can go ahead and put these in. And I always like to put mine down in first, if I can get this to line up. There we go. And then I actually stamp it down. So there's one. And then we're going to do the other side. And this doesn't make the loud chomping sound because it's going through lots of thick paper. Oops, sorry about that. So it's gone all the way through. It's going to hold. And we're going to, last but not least, go ahead and take all of these off. And I'm going to go ahead and take this off as well. And see, this comes off really nicely. So I love this washi tape. And actually, I can get a couple of uses out of it. So I'm going to just set that aside. I'm going to come over here and get some, whatever this is called. It's like baker's yarn or baker's twine. And grab a nice size length of this off of here. And give this a cut. Cut it off. And we're going to run this through the two sides. So we're going to start here, and I'm going to run it through backwards first. I feel like I'm playing with one of those kids' lace-up games. I don't know if you ever had those as a kid. Kind of a walk down memory lane for us here, isn't it? I think I just undid that, and I need to trim that again. All right, there we go. So I'm going to run this through to the back, and you could use you could use a ribbon, you could use maybe even a lace, you could do lots of pretty things. Again, because I'm trying to keep these to so that it all kind of matches, so that when we get to the end, I'll have a complete set of gifts. And I'm trying to get this to go through back to the front so I can tie a bow. And I think I'm going to need what I call my pokey tool, because this is not wanting to go back up through. Oh, there we go. I got it. No, I don't. All right. So I may have to make an aglet for this, but hang on. Let me see if I can make my pokey tool work instead. So this tool is actually part of a tool set that I bought at Home Depot, I think is what it was. So I'm going to just poke this back through to the other side. Let's see if we can get that to poke through. There we go. So now it's coming back up from that side, and then we need to poke this one through as well. And hopefully this works better from this angle. So I'm just trying to poke the whole thing through. Grab that. There we go. Ta-da! And then I'm going to pull this up like this. And I'm just going to tie a bow. I'll trim the ends in a second here, but I'm going to tie a bow here. And this will help to hold the whole thing together as well. So like I said, if you don't want to do the eyelets or grommets or whatever those things are called, you don't have to. You can leave those. And then the last thing you need are actually some really strong refrigerator magnets. These are pretty strong. And what I like about these is you just peel off the back. I find that I hang them just underneath of here, and I actually find these are heavy enough. I need 2 of these. And then you have your refrigerator magnet. So then you can stick it up there, and then you can just tear off the pieces as you go along. So I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial on making a paper pad for yourself or as a gift. And make sure you also check out the other videos. I'll have them posted below. There's a group of us that are doing all of these. So if you want more ideas, check those links down below. If you've enjoyed this series or have enjoyed checking out some of my other videos, I invite you to subscribe and hit that subscribe button below. And last but not least, I hope I have inspired you to be creative today.